Assalamu alaikum. 9 p.m. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Ali Ahmed. First, the headlines. Prime Minister has called upon international community to take notice of anti-Muslim agenda of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, terming it a threat to regional peace. Foreign Minister has expressed apprehensions that India can stage a false flag operation to divert world's attention from grave human rights violations in India. Special Assistant to Prime Minister on Information says Facebook has violated the basic human rights of people of occupied Kashmir by blocking live video streaming of Radio Pakistan's news bulletins. Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi has asked for a judicial inquiry into Uttar Pradesh police's unlawful conduct during protests against Discriminatory Citizenship Act. OIC has welcomed the United Nations General Assembly resolution strongly condemning rights abuses against Rohingya Muslims and other minority groups in Myanmar. Palestinian group Hamas has denied holding any truce talks with Israel. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Imran Khan says Pakistan will become the voice of innocent Kashmiris by forcefully raising the issue at all international fora. He stated this during a meeting with renowned Kashmiri activist Tony Ashai, who called on him in Islamabad. The Prime Minister said that Pakistan will continue to extend political, diplomatic and moral support to Kashmiris. He called upon the international community to realize the anti-Muslim agenda of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, terming it a threat to regional peace. Imran Khan said the RSS and Hindutva ideology is an attempt to erase the identity of millions of Muslims residing in India. Tony Ashai thanked Prime Minister Imran Khan for effectively raising the issue of Kashmir at international level, including the United Nations. Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi has expressed the apprehensions that India can stage a false flag operation to divert world's attention from grave human rights violations. During the meeting of the Consultation Council on Foreign Affairs in Islamabad today, he said the entire India is protesting against the Modi regime's Hindutva policies. He said those who protest discriminatory measures of the Indian government are facing the worst police torture on the behest of the Modi regime. He said police is involved in torturing people by raiding Muslim-majority areas in India. Regarding situation in occupied Kashmir, the foreign minister said that millions of people have been facing curfew since illegal act of the Indian government on 5th of August this year. Meanwhile, presiding over an interministerial meeting in Islamabad today, the foreign minister said Pakistan will continue to raise the voice of oppressed Kashmiris across the globe. He said India is committing brutalities against 8 million people of occupied Kashmir since 5th of August. The minister said all-out efforts will be made to highlight the Kashmir issue at United Nations Security Council and at all higher international fora. He said international media is also highlighting human rights violations by India in occupied Kashmir. Special Assistant to the Prime Minister on Information and Broadcasting Dr. Firdaus Ashikaban has termed as violation of basic human rights the blocking of live video streaming of Radio Pakistan's news bulletins by Facebook for highlighting human rights violations in occupied Kashmir. She was talking to media after inaugurating a photographic exhibition in Islamabad today. The Special Assistant said the government will make all-out efforts for restoration of the live streaming of Radio Pakistan's news bulletins on Facebook. She said whenever we try to highlight human rights violations in occupied Kashmir on social media platforms such as Facebook or Twitter, the accounts are suspended. Facebook management has blocked live video streaming of Radio Pakistan's news bulletins for 2 months on highlighting Indian human rights violations in occupied Kashmir. However, Radio Pakistan has made alternate arrangement on YouTube to continue live video streaming of its bulletins. Facebook, though, through alert notices, has said that 2 posts on its page by Radio Pakistan were against the Facebook community standards. Special Assistant on Overseas Pakistanis Syed Zulfikar Abbas Bukhari has directed Pakistani High Commission in Malaysia to make all-out efforts to facilitate repatriation of Pakistani prisoners. In a statement today, he asked the High Commission in Kuala Lumpur to leave no stone unturned in facilitation of Pakistani citizens. It is pertinent to mention that Malaysia pardons stranded prisoners at the end of every year. The procedure for registration of Pakistani prisoners in amnesty scheme is underway. 170 Pakistanis have been registered in the amnesty scheme. This is Radio Pakistan. In occupied Kashmir, reeling under chilling cold, people continue to suffer immensely amid unrelenting military siege and lockdown, especially in Kashmir Valley and Jammu region on 148th consecutive day today. Besides restrictions in force under Section 144, the continued suspension of prepaid mobile phone, text messaging and internet service has compounded the miseries of the besieged people of the occupied territory. Speakers at a seminar in Jammu expressed serious concern over unilateral scrapping of special status of Jammu and Kashmir by Modi-led Indian government. They demanded initiation of dialogue between Pakistan and India for de-escalation on the border. Jammu and Kashmir Liberation Front chairman Mohammad Yasin Malik and senior party leader Shaukat Ahmed Bakshi, who are detained in Tihar and Uttar Pradesh jails in India, appeared through video conferencing before the Tada court in Jammu in a decades-old case falsely registered against them. Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi Vadra has asked for a judicial inquiry into Uttar Pradesh police's unlawful conduct during protests against Discriminatory Citizenship Act and National Register of Citizens. In a letter to State Governor Anandiben Patel, she said police have created an atmosphere of terror, discrimination and oppression in the state, thus infringing on fundamental rights of every citizen of India. She blamed 23 deaths in the state on police excesses and brutality against protesters. The Organization of Islamic Cooperation has welcomed the United Nations General Assembly resolution strongly condemning rights abuses against Rohingya Muslims and other minority groups in Myanmar. In a statement, the OIC reiterates its call on the international community to extend its support to the legal effort for justice and accountability for the Rohingya people. It is to be recalled that the Republic of the Gambia, as chair of the OIC ad hoc Ministerial Committee on Accountability for Human Rights Violations against the Rohingya, has filed a legal case in the International Court of Justice against Myanmar for violating its obligations under the 1948 Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide. Afghan Taliban have denied any ceasefire agreement in Afghanistan. The statement from militant group came after local and international media have been releasing untrue reports about a ceasefire between government and militant group. However, Taliban have repeatedly stated that any potential truce will only be ironed out after US troops withdraw from the country. In Afghanistan, 14 security personnel were killed in an attack of Taliban at a checkpoint in Jowzjan province today. Palestinian group Hamas has denied holding any truce talks with Israel. In a statement, Hamas called on all sides to stop the siege and lift the sanctions imposed on Gaza Strip from Israel. Meanwhile, Egypt, United Nations and Qatar have been leading consultations to reach a truce between Palestinian factions in Gaza and Israel. Central Punjab won first-class Quaid-e-Azam Trophy cricket tournament, beating Northern by an innings and 16 runs in Karachi today. The scores for Central Punjab are 675 and for Northern 254 and 405. The players of the match were Omar Akmal and Bilal Asif, while Zafar Gohar was player of the series. And finally, the weather. Mainly cold and dry weather is expected in most parts of the country, while very cold with cloudy weather conditions in upper areas during the next 24 hours. Dense fog is likely to prevail in most plain areas of Punjab and Upper Sindh, while in few districts of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa during morning and night hours. Now once again the headlines. Prime international community to take notice of anti-Muslim agenda of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, terming it a threat to regional peace. Foreign Minister has expressed apprehensions that India can stage a false flag operation to divert world's attention from grave human rights violations in India. Special Assistant to Prime Minister on Information says Facebook has violated the basic human rights of people of occupied Kashmir by blocking the live video streaming of Radio Pakistan's news bulletins. Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi has asked for a judicial inquiry into Uttar Pradesh police's unlawful conduct during protests against Discriminatory Citizenship Act. OIC has welcomed the United Nations General Assembly resolution strongly condemning rights abuses against Rohingya Muslims and other minority groups in Myanmar. Palestinian group Hamas has denied holding any truce talks with Israel. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analysis, log on to our website radio.gov.pk. Watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/radiopakistan.